principles of Sankhya and Karma Yoga are not the same, but one who is learned shows the unifying aim in these different processes. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. We'll also continue with the next sloka, which is 5.5. Can anybody else read this shloka, please? Kusum Mataji, would you like to read this?
Yes, Prabhuji. यत् साङ्ख्यै प्राप्तते स्थानं तद्योगैरपि गम्यते एकं साङ्ख्यं च योगं च यः पश्यति स पश्यति. Translation?
Krishnamurti Prabhu, would you like to read the translation, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandavat.
Translation by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. One who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Prabhu, you can read the purport also if you want. But I would request you to just go little slow, very slow.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji. The purport by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. The real purpose of philosophical research is to find the ultimate goal of life. Since the ultimate goal of life is self-realization, there is no difference between the conclusions reached by the two processes. By Sankhya philosophical research, one comes to the conclusion that a living entity is not a part and parcel of the material world, but of the Supreme Spirit's whole. Consequently, the Spirit soul has nothing to do with the material world. His actions must be in some relation with the Supreme. When he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is actually in this constitutional position. In the first process, Sankhya, one has to become detached from matter, and in the devotional yoga process, one has to attach himself to the work of Krishna consciousness. Factually, both processes are the same, although superficially, one process appears to involve detachment and the other process appears to involve attachment. Detachment from matter and attachment to Krishna are one and the same. One who can see this sees things as they are. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Very, very nice, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, we have understood these two shlokas by reading the translation. Now, I was just contemplating after reading the translation, will I be able to understand the meaning or the purpose or the intention of lordship behind these translation? And my answer was absolutely no. And then I started really contemplating on the purport of Srila Prabhupada. Believe me or not, I was just thinking if Srila Prabhupada had not written the purport, I would have understood this translation or the shloka in a complete different manner. And I would have understood Sankhya from an atheistic point of view. So we all should be so grateful to Srila Prabhupada that because of his mercy, because of his hardship, we are able to understand these very, very difficult translations or difficult shlokas in such a very special, easy, and a practical manner. So I really want to offer my special obeisances at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, and I would ask for his mercy so that I can definitely make some justice by explaining or repeating his words in today's class. So, so we'll try to analyze the every single sentence by sentence. So let's start first of all. If you have understood, if you have observed this, today's purport is all about dedicating to the Sankhya philosophy. So when it comes to Sankhya philosophy, um, in the modern world, philosophy is often reduced to speculation, intellectual debate, or a mental exercise. However, when it comes to Vedic philosophy, and especially Sankhya philosophy, as presented here by Srila Prabhupada, has a radically different purpose. It is meant for argument, pride, and academic recognition. It is meant for liberation. So, Srila Prabhupada repeatedly emphasized that the real philosophy must answer the most urgent question of life, which is, who am I? Why am I suffering? What is the ultimate goal of life? So, Sankhya philosophy, when properly understood and taught as Lord Kapila teaches in Srimad Bhagavatam, because in Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila gives explicit, very detailed understanding of Sankhya philosophy. It is one of the most precise and powerful tools for answering these questions. So it gives a scientific step-by-step analysis of reality, distinguishes matter from spirit, and ultimately leading the living entity to devotional service to Krishna. So when it comes to our ISKCON philosophy, it rejects the atheistic Sankhya and accepts theistic Sankhya. So what is the difference between atheistic and theistic Sankhya? We'll be definitely discussing that soon. So as first, let's understand the meaning of Sankhya. So what is Sankhya? The Sankhya is basically a Sanskrit word which is called Sankhya, comes from Sankhya, meaning number, enumeration, or a systematic analysis. So, Sankhya philosophy means understanding reality by carefully enumeration or categorization of its components. Sankhya breaks reality into clearly identifiable categories. It segregates, it explains, it actually gives a detailed understanding. So that confusion becomes matter, or confusion between the matter and spirit can be removed from a spiritual standpoint. So Srila Prabhupada explains Sankhya means understanding what is matter and what is spirit. That is all. This simple sentence captures the entire essence of Sankhya. So why analysis is necessary? Why Sankhya is necessary? Human suffering exists primarily due to misidentification. When we think I am body, when we think this world exists for my enjoyment, when we think happiness comes from sense gratification, Sankhya philosophy dismantles this illusion by analytical suppression. Just a doctor must diagnose before prescribing medicine. Sankhya diagnoses the diseases of material existence. So, as we have discussed, Sankhya has two types of Sankhyas. One is accepted and the one is rejected. So, atheistic Sankhya, which is absolutely rejected by ISKCON philosophy. So, in this, the key features of atheistic philosophy is they denies the existence of God, considers matter and consciousness as ultimate, does not accept the supreme controller, and ends in isolation or void like liberation, encourages dry renunciation without devotion. However, on the other hand, when it comes to uh, Srila Prabhupada, the real Sankhya, and as not only Srila Prabhupada, Srimad Bhagavatam, the real Sankhya is the one accepted, which is taught by Lord Kapila, the son of Dehuti, with an incarnation of Krishna himself. It says one of the uh, shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam says, Mad Gunash Shruti Matrena Mai Sarva Guhasaya manogatir avichinna yatha gangam bhasho buddhai. So by hearing of transcendental qualities, the mind becomes fixed in me, who am the super soul in everyone's heart. Thus, the devotion flows uninterruptedly towards me, just as the Ganga flows towards the sea. So, in this, as per Sankhya, it talks about the various different material elements, and coming back to the teachings of Kapila Dev, just trying to understand. Give me a minute. So Sankhya analysis, as per him, Sankhya analysis does not end in detachment. It ends in bhakti. Therefore, both processes reach the same conclusion. So, Sankhya ends by establishing devotional service as the goal. And the devotional service has been discussed over here because the devotional service is offered to the Lordship. So, as per Kapila Dev, Lord Krishna exists, and in order for us to definitely come closer to the Lordship, we only means is to offer the devotional service. So that is the difference between atheist and theist. The other one, the other example when it comes to the core principle of Sankhya, everything comes from Krishna. The central conclusion of Sankhya is Krishna is the source of matter, soul, and supersoul. Unlike atheist system that they treat matter as independent, Sankhya accepts matter. Matter is not accidental, and consciousness is not chemical. The universe is not purposeless. Everything functions under divine supervision. So, um, when we were talking about this particular shloka of 5.4, let's try to gain some more understanding of shloka 5.4. So when it comes to 5.4, we can also understand the analysis of 24 material elements if you really want to uh, establish the real Sankhya philosophy, which includes the earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. All together, these elements constitute, uh, and all these things are matter. But on the other hand, this is created by the Lordship, and that is what is very very important for all of us to understand. The other understanding or other example that we can look at is Jada Bharat. As I'm sure we all must have heard about Jad Bharat from Srimad Bhagavatam. Jad Bharat explains that the soul is only a witness and completely separate from bodily activity. The perfect demonstration of Sankhya realization has been expressed by Jad Bharata. On the other hand, we can also understand that this is not a dry knowledge. Like Srimad Bhagavatam explains, the highest perfection of human life is to give the mentality of material enjoyment and engage the mind in devotional service by fixing it firmly on me. This is what Lordship says. So again, if we say if we go back to Lord Kapila's teaching, Sankhya means bhakti. This is what he has explicitly declares. Analysis, he was focusing on devotional service, and the knowledge what he wants to acquire or he wants us to really focus on is the love of Godhead. So coming back to 5.4, Srimad Bhagavatam, I would like to again relate to Srimad Bhagavatam purport. Sorry, yeah, one of the translation. As pouring water on the root of a tree nourishes the trunk, branches, and leaves, and as supplying food to the stomach enlivens the senses. Similarly, worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead satisfies everyone. So over here, if you see the connection is Sankhya is finding the root. What is the root? The root is Vishnu, as we have read from the purport. Bhakti is watering the root. So in order for us to get bhakti of Lord Vishnu and Krishna, we have to always try watering the root. And how do we water the root? By water the root means we have to follow the Navavidha Bhakti. Among the Navavidha Bhakti, hearing, Smaranam, and Kirtanam has more stress. Among these two, hearing has more stress. Why? Because the more we hear about Lordship, the more we hear about the glorification of the Lord, the more we hear of our chanting, we will be able to water the root, which is the bhakti, and we will be able to nourish the love, which is the result of Sankhya and Bhakti, and we'll be able to purify and perfect our journey towards Lordship. I hope I am able to make or justify or try to serve this particular uh, shloka.
Prabhuji, last sentence you spoke, by chanting, we will be able to water the roots.
Yes, Mataji.
Right. So, other than this, once more sentence you spoke, Prabhuji, I couldn't
Yes,
hear.
Mataji. So,
Like,
so
what is the
as
connection?
yeah, so connection. So basically, as we were discussing, Mataji, in regards with um, as it is mentioned uh, by Lordship himself from Srimad Bhagavatam 4:31-14. As pouring water on the root of a tree nourishes the trunk, branches, and leaves, and as supplying food to the stomach enlivens the senses. Similarly, worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead satisfies everyone. So similarly, if we if we go back to that particular purport over here, yeah, the soul of the this is 5.4. The soul of the material world is Vishnu or the super soul. Devotional service to the Lord entails service to the super soul. So this is the same thing when it comes to Sankhya is finding the root. And what is the root? Root is basically the
Bhakti.
super soul, the Vishnu,
Okay. Mm.
Lordship Krishna. And the second line it says devotional service to the Lord entails service to the super soul. So, in order for me to actually engage my soul with the super soul, in order for me to engage myself in that rasa, in the bhakti rasa, I have to follow as well as practice the bhakti. But what is the way of me practicing the bhakti? By following Navavidha. Out of all Navavidha bhakti, hearing and chanting is the most special and sacred. Chanting is basically beneficial only when we hear what we chant. As Srila Prabhupada mentioned, and it is mentioned in Lilamrita as well. When we talk about chanting, is not about meditation. It is all about hearing what we chant. Sometimes we engross so much in our day-to-day routine, and there are so many thought process that comes in our mind. And when we are chanting, we just try to chant in our mind, which is not recommended by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada recommends whatever you chant, you hear. And hence, hearing has been given more importance. And when we hear more, the chanting, hear more, glorification, hear more, kirtan, we are engrossed so much, even though we are in a material world, we are slowly and gradually detaching ourselves from the material world and getting into a Vaikuntha world. So, I'm sure this example must have mentioned by the past preachers as well. Um, Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj, whenever he used to come and whenever he used to see his families is basically glorifying the Lord, there's a kirtan going on, there's a service of the Lord going on at his house, he always used to feel that his house has been transformed into Vaikuntha. And that is actually what it means. So for example, Sankhya is all about detaching ourselves from the material world. So if we are detaching ourselves from the material world, where are we attaching ourselves? We have to somewhere engage, and that is the rasa, and that is the actual uh, the nature of our soul. We have to engage ourselves somewhere. So in order for us to engage ourselves, we have to engage ourselves in the Lord's bhakti. And how do we do that? As I've mentioned, we have to follow that through the Navamida. On the other hand, if
Thank
you
you.
see from a viewpoint, Sankhya and Karma Yoga are not different. It is basically one process which finds the root, which is Vishnu and Supersoul, as we have discussed, and the other waters the root, which is devotional service, and both are the same, which is Vishnu and his of course the service. Like let me take one example of Vidura inquiring to Maitreya. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam 379. Vidura asks about creation, time, modes of nature, elements of matter. But his purpose is clear, to understand the Supreme Lord behind everything. And the reason he was asking that because he was absolutely longing. He was so morose when he heard that the Lord has left this particular planet. So, but just to understand Lord's mercy, just to understand Lord's creation, just to understand, uh, you know, Lord's uh, the whole design of the whole material world, he asked this particular question. So Vidura's inquiry is pure Sankhya, if you see, but he does not analyze matter for curiosity, analyze matter to find the soul of existence. That means who is the who is the karta, who is basically the object, or who is basically the creator of all these things. So true Sankhya is goal oriented and not academic. The other example is again Srimad Bhagavatam, clear verdict. So the soul of the material world is Vishnu, or the super soul, we have already discussed. 1 to 28 says Vasudeva Sarvam Iti Samhatma Sudurlabha, which means one who realizes that Vasudeva is everything is a great soul. So the soul of material existence is Vishnu, not impersonal energy and not independent matter. So the perfect Sankhya here, realization, is seeing Vishnu everywhere. And I'm sure we all must have seen this wonderful movie, Mahavatar. And in that, when Prahlad Maharaj was basically thrown from the cliff and was going through so much of trouble in his life because of his father, he was actually praying to Lord Shiva, I really want to see you. Can you please give me your darshan? And when took the darshan of Lord Vishnu, he was able to see Vishnu everywhere. And I was just wondering, I was just watching that movie, and that particular part is so stunning, so mesmerizing, that I was really thinking, when will that day come when I will be able to see every single thing, and in every single thing I will be able to see Lord Vishnu, or Lord Krishna. But for that we have to completely detach ourselves from material world. This is what the purport 5.5 is explaining to us all about. So serving Krishna is not about neglecting others. Serving Krishna is serving everyone, and that will only happen when we'll see every single object as a part of Krishna's mercy. This destroys the misconception that bhakti is narrow or sectarian. Uh, Again, in purport line 4, it says one process is to find the root of the tree and the other is to water the root. So, the tree root analogy is come from Srimad Bhagavatam 4.31.14. It says, Yatha tarur mula nisachajena trapyanti tat skanda bhujo paksha. So, is this by watering the root of a tree, all parts are nourished. By worshipping Achyuta Vishnu, everyone is satisfied. So, Sankhya is finding the root, and Karma Yoga or Bhakti is watering the root, as we have discussed. The other line says the real student of Sankhya philosophy finds the root of the material world, Vishnu. So Lord Kapila Sankhya, which is Srimad Bhagavatam from 3.25 to 29, Kapila Muni analyzes 24 material elements, time, modes of nature. But his conclusion is the highest perfection is Bhakti Yoga. Another line of our purport says, in perfect knowledge, engages in perfect knowledge, engages himself in the service of the Lord. So we can see the Dehuti Mata's transformation, which is from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.33.7. It says Kapila's analytical knowledge has destroyed her ignorance and awakened her pure devotional service. This is what happened when Lord Kapila was giving directions to Mata Dehuti. Again, the another line says of our purport says, therefore, in essence, there is no difference between two because the aim of both is Vishnu. Over here, knowledge without glorification of Vishnu is considered useless labor. So, and that is the reason if you see, there was Lord Vyasdev or Vyasdev Muni. He was not satisfied when he wrote all the scriptures. And because he was not satisfied, his Gurudev appeared there and he definitely inquired, instructed, helped him reflect. And after his reflection, he came to know, or after a reflection, and with the help and with the instruction of Narad Muni, he got to know that he has not glorified Lord Vishnu. And because he has not glorified Lord Vishnu, on the instruction of Narad Muni, he has written Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Amal Puran. And when he has glorified Lord Vishnu, even after writing so many skandhas and so many Puranas, uh, he was completely satisfied with his Srimad Bhagavatam. The other purport of line 8 of our purport says, those who do not know the ultimate end say that the purpose of Sankhya and Karma Yoga are not the same. So we can take an example of Durvasa Muni and Amrish Maharaj. So Durvasa Muni was Sankhya, again austerity, however, was no devotion. But when it comes to Amrish Maharaj, he was fully engaged in his service, fully engaged. And he was fully engaged in serving the Lord and Lord's devotees as well. And that was the only purpose he broke that particular fast because that was the service to the Lord. And he was waiting for Durvasa Muni, but Durvasa Muni, because of no devotion, he has understood that in a complete different manner. And we all know the story. Amrish Maharaj was protected by Vishnu, and because of which uh, the chakra came, and they all know the whole story. So, how do we relate that to this particular slok? This example is dry analysis without devotion is dangerous. Now, that particular part was played by Durvasa, but Karma Yoga with devotion is perfect, and that particular part was played by Amrish Maharaj, sorry. So, Bhagavatam proves service is superior to speculation all the time. So, Srimad Bhagavatam confirms that Sankhya finds Vishnu as the root of existence, and Karma Yoga waters that root through service. Thus, both processes are having a one aim and one in truth and one in perfection. Yeah. On the other hand, if you see 5.5, it says by Sankhya philosophical research, one comes to the conclusion that the living entity is not part of a matter, but of the supreme spirit whole. So over here again, we can go back to the discussion between Lord Kapilas and Mata Dehuti. So, Kapila's analytical separates body, which has the earth, water, fire, and then mind, intelligence, ego, and then there is something very very important, which is the soul, and then the more better and extremely important is the super soul, and then he declares the living entity is transcendental to the material nature. Kapila does not end at analysis. He points the soul towards the supreme person. So this is a pure Sankhya leading to theistic realization, exactly as our purport says. We can take another example of King Rahuguna and Jadabharata. So Jadabharata said to King Rahuguna that I am not the body that carries your palanquin. I am not the mind that feels fatigue. I am the witness, the soul. So even while apparently acting, Jadabharata is completely detached internally. And that was the only reason his family has really uh, uh, was not taking good care of him, and they thought that he just not normal, and we all know that particular pastime of Bharat Maharaj. So connection to this particular purport today is perfect Sankhya realization is I have nothing to do with matter. That's how Jada Bharat has portrayed in his Leela or pastime. The other line that we get in this particular purport is his action must be in some relation with Supreme. So we can see Narad Muni's transformation. So as a servant boy, when before he became Narad Muni, and his previous life he was a servant boy, Narada performed small services to devotees, to sadhus. He hears Krishna Katha, and his action become connected to the Supreme. And what was the result of that? He becomes fully self-realized, free from material bondage. Now over here, if you connect it very well, it says action doesn't stop, direction changes. So this proves the purpose statement. His action must be in relation with the Supreme Lord. There's another line in our purport from 5.5, I think, line number 5, where when he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is actually in his constitutional position. We can take example of gopis of Vrindavana. Yeah. So outwardly, they abandoned everything. And Krishna was playing flute, they have left everything. The mother was taking care of a child. Uh, in the middle of night, uh, you know, they have left everything. The Gopi was taking care of the family. She left everything and she came because of her devotional service and because of her laulyam, because of her attraction, because of her pure love towards Lord Krishna in the middle of night. In reality, they act purely as souls and not bodies. And that is exactly what Srila Prabhupada kept saying, that don't jump to that particular part of Srimad Bhagavatam. If you really want to understand the love of Gopi, you have to start Srimad Bhagavatam from chapter 1 and understand and study every single verse very clearly, and not by just reading yourself. You have to understand this by taking the shelter of, of a great devotee of Lordship. So Krishna himself says here, your love for me is the highest perfection. They don't practice dry detachment. They are fully active yet fully liberated. So what is the connection of that particular, Sankhya philosophy to this? So basically, if you see, constitutional position of Gopi was It's all about loving service and not in activity. We can take another example of Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj was born in a demon's palace, right? Surrounded by material enjoyment. Yet he was fully detached from matter, fully attached to Krishna, completely fully attached to Krishna. Even though his surrounding, even though the environment, even though the parents was forcing him to enjoy the material arrangements, but since he was fully attached to Krishna, he never ever showed um, any kind of attraction to all these material enjoyment. Prahlad never practiced a formal renunciation. Attachment to Krishna automatically detached him from matter. And this is Sankhya. This is bhakti completely united. We can take one more example of Kapil Muni's final conclusion. So he says, after explaining analytical Sankhya, he concludes devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the highest perfection. So even the founder of Sankhya, which is Kapil Dev, concludes in bhakti. So there is no contradiction, only stages of clarity is required. Again, Amrish Muni engaged all senses in Krishna's service, not a renunciate, a king, yet untouchable by Maya. Yeah. So every single, if you see, all these examples that we have seen today is all about detaching ourselves from the material element and attaching ourselves to Lordship. We can definitely understand that with the help of a short uh, with the help of a short table, which I can show you on the screen. Are you able to see my screen? Are you able to see a table here?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay, allow me to share that table so that we can get a very clear understanding on these two shlokas. Give me a moment. And here we go. Are you able to see the table now? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Are you able to
Yes,
see?
Prabhuji.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji. Yes,
Prabhuji. Yes,
we can able to.
Prabhuji.
Very good. So I did a small little comparison between 5.4 and 5.5. So over here, primary focus of 5.4 is unity of Sankhya and Karma Yoga, and 5.5 is unity of Sankhya and Bhakti Yoga. Common misunderstanding addressed over here was in 5.4, people think Sankhya and Karma Yoga have different goals. 5.5, people think detachment, Sankhya, and devotion, Bhakti, are opposites. What are the key teaching? Both processes aim to at Vishnu, which is super soul. And 5.5 also mentions both processes lead to self-realization and Krishna consciousness. Role of Sankhya in 5.4 says analytical study to find the root of existence. 5.5 says detachment from matter by realizing I am not the body, but I am the soul. Role of yoga or bhakti, karma yoga waters the root by offering work to Krishna or Vishnu. On the other hand, bhakti attaches the soul to Krishna in its constitutional position. Central analogy, root tree analogy, finding first of all the roots and then watering the roots. On the other hand, 5.5 says detachment, attachment, two sides of one truth. That means detaching ourselves from material elements, our entanglement, and attaching ourselves with Lordship through devotional service. Supreme goal identified, Vishnu or super soul as soul of material existence. On the other hand, self realization leading to Krishna consciousness. Here, who is called learner? In 5.4, One who sees Vishnu as the common aim of Sankhya and Karma is called learned. On 5.5, one who sees detachment from matter and devotion to Krishna as identical. Who is called ignorant in 5.4? Those who say Sankhya and Karma Yoga are different are called ignorant. In 5.5, those who see Sankhya as dry and Bhakti as separate is called ignorant. What are the practical results? Practical result is work becomes purified by serving to Lord Vishnu. In 5.5, knowledge becomes loving, devotional service. Bhagavatam illustration, as we have mentioned, and these are some more examples. Prachetas watering the root from Srimad Bhagavatam 4.31-14. And we have taken an example of Kapiladev, Jadabharat, Prahlad Maharaj. Type of unity shown, unity of goal and unity of realization. What is the vision required for us to see? Seeing Vishnu as the root of existence and seeing Krishna as the soul's natural master. Just to summarize one, for 5.4, finding Vishnu and serving Vishnu are the same in purpose. And 5.5 is detaching from matter and attaching to Krishna are the same in truth. The reason I did this is this particular table for your pleasure, because there's a lot of philosophy, and I tried to encompass the philosophy in this particular table so that we all can definitely have a good recap and have a good takeaway, and definitely we can reflect on these so that once we reflect, once this Sankhya philosophy's foundation becomes stronger, then we will be able to definitely move forward on 5.6 and 5.7 and 5.8. So that was the only small little service that I can offer at your lotus feet. Thank you very, very much. Looking at the interest of time, I would like to pause here for this week. And I would really want to request all the assembled Varishta devotees, Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, to please kindly throw some light on this particular shlokas so I can also learn from you and I can take that for my uh, own my own my um, uh, my own purification. Thank you very, very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandot Pranam, Krishnamurti
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Please,
Prabhuji,
Prabhu,
Prabhuji,
please share.
really, your kind self has taken risk or you with pleasure. Risk is with pleasure. You have taken to educate us, particularly for these two slokas and previous two slokas, one sloka. Really, I felt very happy to see how your kind self has unfolded the sloka in the matter. So this is very heart-touching. Probably, if you don't mind, please share this in a PDF format. Yes,
Certainly, Prabhu.
because
It will be my great pleasure.
I want
I'll
to
do that.
take this printout and I have to keep this material till my last freezing regular. If you see regularly, definitely
Prabhu, I lost you. Krishnamurti Prabhu.
Prabhuji, we are not able to hear you.
Krishnamurti Prabhu.
uh, am I audible, Prabhuji now?
Yes,
Ah,
yes,
Mataji.
yes, yes, absolutely.
Am I audible, Mataji?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Now
Please,
you're
please.
audible.
Mataji, Prabhuji, you please share this material in PDF format, Prabhuji.
I'll do
Yes,
the needful,
because
Prabhu.
I want to take out this print and I will keep this material forever, mm, before chanting or before going to bed. I have to read again and again, again and again. It helps me for my spiritual growth. Please, Prabhuji, take care. I please, this is my personal request.
That's true, Prabhu. I'll definitely do the needful. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, today's class was wonderful. The way you explained between the Sankhya and Karma Yoga, it was very good, Prabhuji. Earlier, I was not able to understand. Like Sankhya Yoga, I was thinking little different, and Karma Yoga also different, like leading to different path. But today, I understood very clearly. Prabhuji, it is going straight away to Vishnu Bhagwan.